Hey guys, my name's Sam. Oh, excuse me.
Hey guys, my name's Sam and welcome to Prep Medic. This week's video, we're reviewing the Escape Hood from Avon Protection. Hazardous chemicals are all around us in the modern world. Just drive down the highway with an emergency response guide or download the app and start typing in the placards of the trucks you see passing. You will be astounded with what's being transported on our roadways and railways. Now, on top of that, there is always a risk, now a small risk, but a risk nonetheless, of terror attack that are utilizing CBRN components. So CBRN stands for chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear. And we have several examples in our history books of terrorist organizations using things like anthrax or dirty bombs to attack civilian centers. So in front of you, I have an Escape Hood from Avon Protection. Now this is a one-time use gas mask for the CBRN environment to let you escape, get you out of that situation. This is not for throwing it on and conducting hazmat operations as part of your job. It was originally marketed to police, fire, and EMS personnel who have a higher risk of coming in contact with these hazardous environments. And it has been used by hazmat teams to go into a situation, they can throw this on a patient and help evacuate them while they are wearing more advanced protection themselves. So it has a 5-year shelf life as long as it's stored between 5 degrees Fahrenheit and 105 degrees Fahrenheit and under 95% humidity. Is it going to turn to dust if it gets to 106 degrees? No, but obviously the company will not stand behind it if it goes outside of those tolerances. Now, it is not amazingly expensive, but for a one-time use product, it does come with a price tag because it also has a NIOSH certification, which is one of the most rigorous standards any kind of respiratory protection can be held to. This comes in at around $200 per person. I do have a code for a discount. I'm not getting paid by these guys. It's not an affiliate link. So if you are looking at picking that up, you can obviously use it. But you do have to take into account the price with something like this. Now, the packaging itself for this mask, it is relatively small. It will fit in a backpack just fine. It will fit in the dash of your car. I've heard of people throwing these under the seats of their cars just in case something overturns on the highway in front of them, or they take a wrong turn and, get in the middle of riot control operations and there's a lot of OC or CS in the air. But it is not really small enough that you can throw, in a pocket. Really, it's not even small enough to be comfortably carried on a general duty belt of a police officer. It does have some straps back here, and this is a pretty hard nylon, so a lot of protection on the outside. As we open it up, it has this secondary packaging, which is, this really thick foil, and there are directions on the front. It also gives you the date of manufacture and the date it's going to expire. It gives you the tolerances just in case you forget. Now, the directions themselves, I don't find them amazingly useful on here. They're a little bit confusing because there's no words associated with it. It's purely pictures. That being said, they do have some good training videos on donning this online. Now, I only have one of these. This is a one-time use product, so I'm going to throw it on here. I should be able to put it on in under 30 seconds. That's kind of the standard they have set for something like this. While this will protect you from CBRN threats, which are a pretty high threshold, and like I said, it'll protect you from anything under that, it is not meant as a fire escape hood. If you are going into an oxygen depleted environment, this is just filtering the ambient atmosphere around you. It can't add oxygen, so this is not to get out of a fire or anything like that. Now, let's try opening it. I hope I can do this in one take right here. So as we come here, we're gonna open this just like that, and we're gonna get the mask out of the wrapper, and should have a timer going. Now, this comes folded up right here. I've got the hood itself, and there is a harness on the inside. I'm supposed to take that harness and put that over my head. And I've got this neck piece. Oh man.
All right, right here, it's on. I can tell I have a really good seal here. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to talk But as I breathe in, I can feel that resistance from the filters. It's not so much that it's panic reducing. I will say that I do have a little bit of vision obstruction. It's not an amazingly clear image, but these panels right here do give me pretty good peripherals. I'm not really worried about losing a ton of my situational awareness.
Now, you can see under this mask right here, we have this neck collar, and this is kind of that extra layer of protection. But on the inside, if I can get this open, you can see you also have a conforming face piece right here. So you get a really, really good seal with this. And then on the inside, you have this self-adjusting harness that keeps it snug to your head. And then what's cool about this, it's not just respiratory protection, right? You are breathing through these filters, and that's filtering for your respiratory tract. But if I get sprayed with a little bit of chemical, right here, a crop duster flies over me and sprays me with that while I have this on, it's gonna run right off. And this is pretty high grade plastic right there. In the eyes, it is relatively hard to see from it. I wouldn't say like it's obstructing my view. I could drive with it just fine, but it's not, crystal clear, because this is a 15-minute escape hood to get you out of a dangerous situation. It does have both of these kind of harder, I don't know what you'd call it, but harder plastic right here that are clearer than just looking through the rest of it. Now on the inside, you have this self-adjusting harness that's adhered to the back of this hood. So it really goes around your head nicely. And once again, I felt like it had a good fit. This is a good time to mention that you do not need to get fit tests for this. They do have 3 sizes, and they can recommend that to you when you purchase one. Now, the front right here is reflective, so if somebody shines a light on you, they're searching for you, this will show up right there. While this is only rated for 15 minutes, I have no doubt it will last you longer in a variety of situations. All right, so ultimately, I think this mask is great. It's gonna work exactly as advertised. It's held to a very high standard and is pretty easy to put on. For, my police, fire, EMS folks that have a higher chance of coming in contact with an unanticipated CBRN incident, I think this is a very valuable piece of PPE. Now, for the individual, it is still a good piece of PPE, but it is cost prohibitive. $200 plus a unit for a disposable mask that has a 5-year shelf life is a hard pill to swallow. And even though it's valuable, it's not going to top the top 10 things you should have if you're just starting your prepper journey and looking to make your family more resilient. That being said, if you've got some money laying around, I think this would be a great thing to throw under the seats of your car or, in your kids' room, something like that if you have to go quickly. Ultimately, you're going to have to make the decision if something like this is worth it to you. Everybody's, threat profile around them is different. So, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have, anhydrous tanks or crazy stuff on your farm, this is probably a lot less likely to be useful as opposed to somebody that lives right next to a train station or, busy highway. So ultimately, you have to make the decision. As far as the product goes, this thing's solid and it's going to protect you against a lot of different threats. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I will answer them the best I can. Obviously, I am not a CBRN expert. Now, they did send me a different mask that I'm waiting to use in some of our SWAT callouts here. This is another option. I'll be releasing a video of it in the near future. Stay tuned for that, and I will see you next week.